Welcome to the GESARA show, the one after Bond. Let's say that we got a normal show this time. We can't have a special every time, but I have the next special already going through my head. I've already got another topic, but I won't tell you about that next. For now, until I've confirmed a few things. But certainly. I've got something, and I think if I can arrange it, the next special will be on Easter Monday.
Right. We discussed this, and since we want everybody to have a happy Easter, enjoy it with your families, we're not going to do a Sunday next Sunday. We're going to do it on Monday afternoon.
So okay. I hope that all goes well with you. I keep people waving at me. Hello, Andriana Bonks is waving. So okay. So it's a normal show.
Hello, Jack.
Jack is waving as well. Anybody else waving?
We got a whole bunch of people waving. Wow. Mary's waving. Sharon is waving. Hello,
wow,
Matthew.
Yeah, we got lots of people waving now. This is all right. This is great.
Yep.
And
yep. Okay.
Right. So I got a lot of positive feedback from the last show. Apparently, a lot of you seem to like what we did, and so we'll bear that in mind for future shows. It was a lot of fun to make, pretending it to be a Bond movie or whatever.
Exactly. Maybe next time we do, I was thinking, somewhere along the lines of getting my sonic screwdriver out.
Oh, you wanted a Doctor Who?
Yeah.
A Doctor Who special.
There you go.
The problem with Doctor Who is it's gone rather woke in the current season.
Yeah, that's true. But we can go back in time, can't we?
Yeah.
And with the TARDIS, we can go back in time, right?
I suppose that, yeah, it could be a bit tardy, but
we're just waiting for more people to show up here.
That's right. Yeah, we always give people about 10 minutes to join, so we just keep you entertained with a little bit of chatter. The next special I have in mind, if it works out, it will have a guest joining the show.
Nice.
And it's someone I know very well. I've known him for 40 years. And it's spiritual in nature.
That would be fun. Yes.
So this guy basically wrote a book, and he's a German guy, and he wrote the book in German. And guess who had the job of translating it into English? That was me.
Sorry about the dogs in the background.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
Going nuts. They're going nuts.
They're going nuts. Okay. So it's not the show going to the dogs, I hope.
No. We're not going to the dogs. No, not yet. Anyway.
Okay, yeah. And we're not on the Isle of Dogs either.
No. It's just the puppy. It's just the puppy patrol. That's all.
All right. Okay, good. So you may have noticed that my background has changed a little bit. And I've added the town where I lived, and you may notice other changes when you see it full screen. And otherwise, it's been an interesting week. Let me see. Oh, yes. We've had some problems with the email system recently, and some people were complaining not receiving the emails, although I thought I'd sent them to everybody. Then I did some deeper investigating into the logs, and found that there was a timeout issue on the email queue, and that was causing some, not all, but a few of the emails not to have been sent. Now I've made some adjustments to the settings, and the emails should now go out to everybody. Since I made those changes, I'm not getting any bounces anymore. Well, except where people have got their email accounts full, then it's natural that it bounces. That means it reached them, but their email account was full. So I think our system is going to be okay now with emails. We still have a few members who have given us email accounts which don't work. And I've got the forum set up that when you log into the forum and you have one of these problems, then you'll immediately see a reduced forum and a place where you can look up to see if your account is affected. Of course, if you see that message, it is affected. And so if you can still watch us the webinars and stuff, but we can't be sending you emails while your emails are bouncing. And this is not bouncing because of us, because bouncing because something's wrong with your email system. So if that affects you, then have a look there. Everybody else, when they log into the forum, will not see that section. It's only the people who have bouncing emails. Right. So I think we've got the introductory issues solved, and we're just coming up to 10 minutes past. We always give a few minutes for people to sign in because some people are a little bit late in getting in.
Right. And just so you know, we automatically start the record before everybody comes in. So it is being recorded right now. So
that's right. In fact,
we're good.
In fact, for those interested in the technicalities, I actually record this twice. Mm-hmm. Once is the recording which Zoom does. Now Zoom records it twice. They record it as the gallery view and the one-to-one view, right. The speaker view. So those are recorded. Plus, I also recorded a screen capture of my screen, which is also running. And when you see the recording, you see the chat on the right of the screen. That comes from that recording. Yeah, mm-hmm. from my screen grab. So just so you know a little bit of the technicalities behind this, we are aiming to make this the best show. There's always a little bit of competition with similar shows which we might have been involved with in the past. Right. And we're trying to just make our show technically better, good topics, and just make it as interesting and as good as possible for you guys.
All right, so we've reached that magical time, 10 past. Let's get into it, shall we, Peter?
Right, so let's go into the Intel. So I've got it printed out today. During the past 3 days, they were referring to the as of Friday. That particular note seems to come from 130 top military leaders and top officials in the National Space Agency, National Intelligence Agency, and Department of Energy have been in meetings at the Pentagon with Pompeo and Admiral Rogers. The Chinese Intel defector revealed evidence gathered over 20 years on the Chinese Communist Party. Now, the Chinese Communist Party seems to be behind a lot of the nasty things happening in this world right now, and they've infiltrated the governments of many countries, particularly the USA, but other countries too. And their aim is to destroy the USA, basically, and they've been doing a good job of it. This is going to end very soon because the good guys in the military are very much aware of these issues, and they are in the process of ending that. And so what else? The gold asset-backed US note in digital form has now been replaced has now replaced the Fiat US. Let me get it the right way around. So when we're talking about Fiat US dollars, we're not talking about a little car manufacturer in Italy, because there's a car manufacturer called Fiat. But we're talking about money which has no value. In other words, not based on gold or anything else. So we now have, according to this, 106 of the 210 countries have already switched to the GCR, the global, and the quantum financial system. Now I'm hearing from Ian Fleming. Is it Ian Fleming? No, Ian Fleming was the Bond guy, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ian was the creator of Bond.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We've moved past that.
We moved that. Yeah. I'm sorry, but I've still got this Bond in my head. When I see Fleming, I think of Ian Fleming. No, okay. So what's this guy's real name? Fleming? I can't remember.
I don't know, but I do know one thing. That one of my favorite movies was by Ian Fleming. It's a movie called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I love that one. Yes.
Yeah, it was actually written by Ian Fleming.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great movie. I watched that as a child, and I remember my father telling me, because my father worked for Ford Motor Company, he was a manager at Ford Motor Company, and he told me very proudly that it was Ford which made the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang car.
Right, and it was, and it's a great story about good versus evil.
That's right. Yes, yeah. No, it's a great movie. So we seem to do a lot of movie talk in this show.
Oh yeah, I know. That's me. I'll be quiet now.
Yeah. I know. I like movies too, and I'm also I like sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. Okay. Anyway, this Mr. Fleming, let's call him that, although Mr. would make him a person, right? Anyway, he's saying May the 1st is the start of the new monetary system. Massive arrests and the beginning of fair trade for the first time in decades. I thought it had already changed. Well, maybe it's changed on paper, but maybe May the 1st is meant as when we actually get notes in our hand. We'll have to wait and see. Some bondholders have appointments late Sunday, 10th of April, that's today, and the rest on May the 11th, according to Mark Z. Mark Z is normally quite a reliable source. That would be for level 3, as far tier 3 as they call it. That means we are then next. We are then the next group to be provided with money. And if I've understood the system correctly, we should be able to make appointments between now and Easter, which means the coming week. So if I were you, I would look out for new messages every day in the coming week, because there's a good chance one of those days we're going to say, here's the phone number to call, here's the website to visit, go and make your appointments now, because you have 10-day window to make your appointment. So that means to register for the appointments, and then obviously you go to the appointment at your individual appointment as it's granted to you. So let me think. The Rockefellers have been working to further disrupt and eventually rob humanity of all control over the global food supply. So we've mentioned this a few times. There may be food in the shops now, but that doesn't mean there will be in a month or two or whatever. So as soon as you have the money to do so, get enough supplies to get through a year. And let me see. What else have we got? The Nazi Ukraine government was bombing its own people and blaming it on the Russians, according to Ukrainian citizens. There's a massive campaign in the media to blame everything on the Russians, but the Russians are not involved in these atrocities. It is the Ukrainians doing it to their own people. They are that evil, unfortunately. I also heard a rumor, I'm not sure if it's true, but that the president of Ukraine, Zelensky or whatever his name is called, is actually related to George Soros. I haven't been able to confirm that, but that is a rumor, so take it as that. What the Russians have been fined are 35,000 children in underground DUMBs, deep underground military bases, and they, often in terrible conditions, and they've been given teddy bears and brought up to the world and are being repatriated. I hear some of them are being sent to Turkey. At the same time, all governments worldwide will be stood back down in the coming days as further arrests are being made. All kings, queens, royals, government judges, police, and lawyers must stand down worldwide. The corrupt ones will be arrested by the military. And then 120 days later, we have the GESARA blockchain elections. Those are going to be real elections where our vote really does count for a change. So let me see. That a little bit more news on that Chinese Intel defector. He's been collecting 20 years of evidence, and he handed over 75 million pages of evidence. It's pretty hefty. That's going to take a while to sift through that. But that's a lot of evidence
triangulating together. Yep, it's all coming together.
And their plans to bring down the United States so that they can take over as a world trade. Well, even President Xi, who's not part of the Communist Party, is trying to stop that.
Exactly.
There is now major panic in the deep state because of the debriefing, which was about their running of military bases, Washington, D.C., and the mainstream media. So it can't be long now before things start getting really interesting, at least for us. So yes, I have to remember just to read what I've pre-marked, because otherwise this gets too long. So world food prices have jumped to a new record high in March as the war in Ukraine caused turmoil in the markets of major grains and edible oils. The United Nations Food Agency said on Friday. The United Nations was a New World Order organization which for years has been planning and executing activities to deliberately create a global food shortage as part of their depopulation agenda. It's right, and don't you see all these ads and everybody pushing you to donate for the Ukrainians, and from what I'm hearing, nearly all of that money goes to buying weapons. It doesn't go to the people.
No, virtually none of it goes to any of the people. So if you're seeing ads on the television, for doing, humanitarian work and whatnot, and asking you for money to do this, that, and the other thing to help the people of Ukraine, if you look closely at their videos that they're producing, they're using the same footage that they use for Holocaust survivors, okay, and stuff like that from years gone by. And it's all bogus. It's totally deception.
That's right. Yes. So I'm just looking forward to this all being cleared up. And according to Trump, it is going to be Easter when when the excrement hits the fan.
Yeah, I find it interesting that Easter is on April 17th of this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Like April so many 17th. Things.
Yeah, April 17th. And you think about that for just a minute. You go back to post 417 and the Q drops. All right. And it says Easter is our timeline. And also you think about it, 417 for Q. Interesting,
okay.
Isn't it?
Right. So yeah, it is getting interesting. Yes, but you still get people who say to us, "Well, you've said so much, nothing has happened," and I say, "What?" If people are just watching the mainstream media, then nothing happens.
Yeah, of course nothing's happening if you're watching the mainstream media. All right. But there's stuff happening all around you. Do you see how many of the Biden administration and the cabinet members and in Congress or whatnot are coming down with COVID? We all know what that means, don't you?
They're being arrested. Yes.
They're being arrested. They're being taken out.
Yeah. So COVID is very selective illness.
Exactly. Michael Jackson's out of a job playing Pelosi right now.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
Oh, shucks. Well, he'll have to go back to singing again.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have to see that.
Yeah, but I suppose he's supposed to have been dead. Is he giving up that job?
He's given up that job. Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
think he's had enough of playing bumbling, stumbling, drunk Pelosi. I'd like to see him do a moonwalk across the stage as Pelosi. That would really trigger everybody, wouldn't
well, yeah, I mean, maybe he was spinning so fast in his grave that he dug his way out.
it? That's true. That could be.
To be fair, from what I heard, Michael Jackson was actually rescued by Trump, and Trump gave him sanctuary and helped orchestrate the fake death story.
Oh yeah, if you watch the video that's called Michael Jackson, The Best Is Yet to Come, you can find it on BitChute, Rumble, and things of that nature. It tells the entire story of the relationship between Trump and Michael Jackson.
That's right, and apparently he did a similar thing for Lady Di, huh?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So I would say long live Michael Jackson and die.
Exactly. Exactly. Cute pun there. I love it.
Yeah. We love our puns. We're pundits for that.
Exactly. We're just pundits. Mm-hmm.
So back to the news, because we are actually supposed to be a serious show at some point. I don't know who've decided that. So major U.S. banks are warning that a recession is coming. Well, in my opinion, it's a recession for the banks, not for us. For us, particularly our group who have currency and funds, the best is yet to come, and I think we will be getting currency sometime this month.
Exactly.
April or May, depending on when you get your appointments. That's when we could be seeing real currency. So hold on tight, guys. We're getting close.
Mm-hmm.
All the banks are broke. They're loaning money they don't have in the form of digits in computers. Yeah, it's amazed me how many messages I get offering me credit cards and credit card debts and things like that. And I say, well, no, thank you. I mean, I suppose you could take it and then have it immediately forgiven, but what's the point? What's the point?
Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the millions coming from the currency. I don't need more dead money. So right, some more to skip. Again, Mr. Flemming, no, not Ian Fleming.
Nick Flemming.
Nick Fleming.
That's his name. That's his name, Nick Flemming.
Oh, so he's the Fleming and the Nick.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. Right. Is that an expression in American, in the Nick?
Yeah, well, it's an old expression. Not many people know about it, but it's Nick. It's like getting you in the back of the neck. Okay. To be in the neck.
That's a different meaning to the one I know. The term I know from the UK, when you say someone's in the nick, it means they're in jail.
Oh yeah, well that's true. That's true.
So I was not sure if the Americans would recognize that one.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a bit of language culture in the show as well.
We're two countries divided by the same language.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and I have to speak at least 3 languages: British, American, and German.
You see, I'm illiterate in like 142 different languages.
Well,
I only speak English and bad English.
Right.
And maybe a little bit of Spanish, just enough to get my face slapped.
Yes. Where I live, I have a garden and there's a bird feeder, and I recently made the comment, that there's some pigeons trying to eat the food, and I said I tried to tell them to stop, but the bird could only speak pigeon English.
Well, we were training the pigeons, remember, so we could get the word out, just in case.
That's right.
All the electronics went down.
So maybe carrier pigeons are going to be the latest tech to communicate with.
Exactly. Old school works the best.
Yeah, right. Okay. It's pretty old school, that one.
It is pretty old school.
So Anyway, NESARA and GESARA both promise freedom from taxation and unlawful actions by corrupt parties. The new digital asset-backed currency provides this. The overlords that lorded it over us for centuries will have no access and no authority to access. This is also the beginning of the end of the banking system as we know it. There will be no need for banks or middlemen when we can deal safely and directly with the QFS.
Mm-hmm.
We will have a direct link and a personal account on the quantum financial system. The RV, GCR, and the crypto community will both see a settling of assets taking place. This has to be the case. That includes with Bitcoin, which is presently considered fiat, no difference. It will be given exchange value. Oh, I'm not quite sure if Nick's got that right, because as far as I know, Bitcoin is going to die. So I'd be careful. Now, I have one thought about them saying the banks are going to go away, because people who are tech savvy, they have no problem running maybe bank apps on their phone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always going to be these people, particularly amongst the older generation, who have problems, and with their banks now, in understanding how it works, and I think the banks need to be around to help these people handle this changeover.
Oh yeah, definitely. But the banking system as we know it is going to go bye-bye. There won't be any of the big banks as we know them today.
I'm not sure you're right, because from what I'm hearing, banks will have a new role. Rather than them disappearing, they will turn the role as a service agency to help advise people on the QFS, but they won't actually be looking after the money.
That's what I'm saying, is that they're going to change. As we know them today will cease to exist. So
yeah, but your local bank branch might still be there. They're just advising people who need to know how to do a bank transfer and that kind of thing.
Exactly. More information than actual banking.
Technical support, that kind of thing.
Right.
Which I do see a need for.
All right. What else we got, Peter?
What else have we got? Yes, it's got one more page of info. So once we got through there, we're through. So
all right.
Not too much today. The new system will establish a value for each crypto, and like currency, some crypto will rise in value and some will go down. The new quantum system has been running for 2 years and knows everything. Those who have broken the laws, harmed innocents for financial gain, will quickly be arrested and removed.
Mm-hmm. So Bitcoin and Ethereum go bye-bye.
Yep.
That's the nefarious stuff. Okay. Yeah. So if you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, get rid of it fast.
Well, I to be honest, our crowd, the people watching this, they're all pretty savvy to this by now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I doubt any of them have got any Bitcoin left. Or say yes in the chat if you still have Bitcoin. I bet nobody says yes. Nope, not saying anything. Right.
No, nobody's got Bitcoin. Okay, I'll get off the Bitcoin stuff. Okay, all right. XRP, yes. Ripple, yes. Lobster wallet, yes. Scopuli wallet, yes. Okay.
I'm seeing messages saying I never bought any crypto, never got any.
I didn't either.
To be honest, I haven't got any crypto either.
Yeah, I'm stacking and packing precious metals. That's what I do.
Yeah, I never bought into crypto.
Mm-hmm.
I spent all my money on gadgets.
Well, me too. It's like the tech heads that we are.
That's right. Yeah. So that's why we can do shows like this, because we know how to operate it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there will be that we will have the ultimate proof of RV delivered with a new currency that is digital, sovereign, and free of corruption. Before the end of this month is the joyful takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
So
correct.
We got the 10th today, 10th of April. We got about 21 days until the end of this month. So it's going to be an interesting month if all these predictions happen, because I know I can understand people being skeptical because we've heard there's so often that something is happening on a certain date, and so take all dates with a pinch of salt. But there are a lot of signs that these things will be happening this month. So let us see.
Exactly.
I
Like
don't
to
think
say,
we'll.
they don't tell us dates or anything else. They give us cryptic information that we have to decipher on a daily basis. And sometimes it's disinformation. Sometimes it's just meant for, people to weed out the bad guys. That's all it is.
That's right. Yes. So let me just see where I was. At the exchange, when RVers redeem their exotic funny money for huge sums that are held in a lawful new quantum system, they will receive their personal crypto wallet and quantum computer to manage their new assets. The Stellar system will be running it. The XRP will be the mode of transfer of funds. The protocols 19 and 20 have been done, whatever they are. I haven't heard about those before. We are now only waiting for ISO 2002-2 all around the world, which must be done by the end of this month. After the protocol 20 is fully implemented, buying XRP will be facilitated in the bank and held like any currency account. May the 1st is the start of the new monetary system. Well, after that explanation, it does explain a little bit more why they're saying May the 1st. Because this month is like the setting it all up month, and I presume we can still go to our account to our appointments and get the money before the end of the month. But so it could be that May the 1st is when the rest of the world catches up. So a little bit more on quantum GESARA. Quantum financial system, quantum voting system, quantum healing, quantum physics, quantum internet, everything is going quantum. The NESARA states rainbow treasury notes backed by precious metals. So I'm really interested to know when you guys in the States start getting your new rainbow notes out of the machines. I know some people have accidentally been getting some already.
Yeah, they've been out there. So we'll see what happens. I haven't been to an ATM and I don't know how long. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, recently I've been seen to buying everything with my wristwatch. It's an Android watch, and you just do Google Pay and you can buy everything.
I'm depending on my lucky astrology mood watch. Okay.
Right. Okay. So what star sign are you then?
Virgo.
A Virgo. Right. Okay. I'm Scorpio.
Oh, you're Scorpio. That's why we mesh so well together.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Virgo.
My mother was a Scorpio.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So, and I've had a lot of Scorpios in my life. We mesh well together. Yep.
Right. Yeah. So no, I'm born in November, so my birthday's a little way off yet.
Yep. I find it interesting.
Yes, that's right. Yes. A long time ago, I had a software program which would calculate people's astrological makeup. Just typed in the date of birth and where they were born, and then it would give you pages and pages of information. And I tried that out on some friends of mine, and my friends were shocked. They said that's so accurate.
Yeah. I've had people do the same thing to me, and it's like I find it rather interesting. I don't know if there's anybody out there that does that type of stuff, but I find it 9/8, okay, which is my birthday, equals 17, and then in 1963 it has the Tesla numbers 9369 in it, okay, all together. All right, and I shared my birthday with the birth of an ancient fictional character, okay, and
Right.
I share which is Pebbles Flintstone. She was first introduced on my birthday.
The Flintstones, okay, yeah.
All right, and then Star Trek premiered on my birthday.
Right. That's
on September the 8th, 1966.
Quite a legacy, yeah.
So I'm like, I got the old, I got the new, I've got all the 17 and the Tesla energy stuff going on there. It's kind of fascinating.
So you live in the Stone Age and in outer space.
Exactly. So I'm time traveling in
Time
between.
traveling. That's why you need the TARDIS.
That's why I need the TARDIS. That's correct.
Right. Okay. So let me see. We're just checking that I've got through all that. I've still got a little bit more to read, I think. So adding quantum StarLink and ISO 2022, internationally regulated USA coins are also backed by metals. I'm not quite sure if I read that or not. QVS, the quantum voting system, blockchain is no longer like the way to do it. I'm not quite sure I understand what that was about. The internet is rebooted. No more Microsoft soft, is they're saying here. That's going to be tough. Because I mean, I use
most
Word.
Most of the stuff that we use is Microsoft.
Yeah, so. Yeah. I use Excel. I use Word. I use PowerPoint. I have Windows PC. So if Microsoft is wiped out, I hope these systems start working.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I don't think they'll let the entire system go down because, I think it'll be taken over by the white hats. I certainly hope my Vectorworks goes the white hat way. So I can still do my graphics programs and things of that nature. But we'll see if Apple goes by the wayside and whatever technologies they come up with, I'm sure will be much better for us in the future,
well, the
stuff we're using now.
Well, if Apple goes and Windows goes, then we're left with Linux.
Well, yeah, but I'm sure that they've got that all under control.
Then we'll have Linux and Android, because they're both open source.
True, exactly.
Oh, okay. We will find out. So I have a little bit of reservation. I personally hope the Microsoft software at least continues to work because I use so much of it.
Right. Yeah. But there'll be something similar, I'm sure.
Well, we will find out.
Yep. What else we got?
So the current internet is Operation Mockingbird, same as TV, newspapers, etc. Will not be anywhere near the same. One news channel, all media players is owned by the Mossad, all being removed. All private intelligence is owned by the UK royal family, and it will also be removed. No more Mossad, Five Eyes, CIA, MI5, James Bond, etc.
Yeah, all that stuff goes bye-bye.
Only intelligence will be military intelligence. Although, isn't James Bond part of military intelligence?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, technically he is, but he's MI6, right? Not MI5.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a higher level of intelligence gathering.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be the difference in between our standard intelligence, FBI, CIA, and things like that, and the Q group. Interesting. Correct.
Right. Yeah, could be.
Is there an MI-17?
MI-17, I'm not quite sure. But that's right. MI stands for military intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
MI5.
Exactly.
So
MI6,
yes, MI5,
MI7.
MI6.
Yeah. You go up in rank. Is there an MI-17? Don't know.
Well, whatever. Right. I think that was the last page.
Okay. Great. Before we get into it, any final thoughts on the intel today?
It's like we're on the precipice of something massive happening, and it's like the calm before the storm. Everything seems to be normal out there. The shops are still open. The idiot governments we have are still pretending to be there, and and it's like there's this massive thing about to happen, and only the select few know about it.
Yep, exactly. And we, the very few, are a band of brothers and sisters.
That's right. Yeah, and we're also banned on Facebook and
yeah, we're banned. We're banned on a lot of different platforms right now.
Although actually, I'm not banned on Facebook because I just stopped reporting intel on Facebook.
Well, yeah, I had to stop doing that myself because my family was like, "We can't get a hold of you on Facebook because you're in jail so much." I'm
Right.
like, okay, well, yeah, there we go.
In the nick. There we go again.
In the nick, exactly. All right, let's get into it. Mary Perry, go ahead and unmute.
I'm not seeing. Oh, yes, I do see her, but she's on. She's.
Okay, here I am.
So
hello, Mary.
You must spend a lot of time on that beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I do.
Because I see you on our shows on that beach. I see you on Charlie's shows on that beach.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Or should I say David's
working
show?
working on that glorious golden tan. There we go. All right, what you got for us today, Mary?
My first question is, I would like Peter to elaborate on the 103 people going to the Pentagon and Admiral Rogers, because you were kind of breaking up when you were talking about that.
Okay, sorry if I was breaking up. I didn't feel as if I was breaking up, but maybe your local internet connection was down. I have no idea.
Atmospherics,
whatever, or maybe the Gremlins doing their bit. Well, they had this meeting in the Pentagon, and where they were discussing, they had this whistleblower from China who had been collecting evidence against the CCP for 20 years, and he had millions of documents on what evidence he'd been gathering. So now the military alliance meeting in the Pentagon, they're now going to be sifting through this information and use it to prosecute the deep state actors who have been doing so much harm to us all in the Communist Party of China, Chinese Communist Party, CCP. So it is all looking like a worldwide deep state takedown by the military is about to happen. Or it's been happening in secret for a long time, but I think it's going to get public more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was wondering about that, because I know that started like last spring.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When you got to think about this globally, it takes forever to get to the point that we are now. This has been going on for thousands of years. And to take down the cabal, the Illuminati, the Khazarian mafia, as entrenched as they are in every government around the world, this takes time, so it's slowly but surely taking place.
Yes. Okay. My second thing is I don't know too many people that are going to be happy with virtual money. I know Charlie addressed this fact some time ago about the banks, and people, most people like to be able to print out their statements, and they like to see things on paper, and they also
sure.
want to have treasury notes in their pockets. So we need some sense of
there will be a transition period, okay,
yeah,
where we will all go through that. Some of the same things that you're used to will be available to you, such as paper currency.
Yeah,
okay, and the new rainbow treasury notes.
That's right.
But I think it will probably take about anywhere from 2 to 5 years for it to really just start to sink in with everybody. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that everybody's going to have to get used to and get re-educated on. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, you'll start out with going to the ATM, and when you try to get some money out of the machine, you're suddenly getting different looking notes, and that the dollars you have in your purse or wallet or whatever, as you spend them, they will then disappear because they then go to the banks and then withdrawn, and within a very short period, everybody will just be using the new treasury notes. The old notes, there's a period of up to September for them to be taken out of circulation. That's
Yeah, I
right.
think that the old notes are starting to go away because when I went to the ATM the other day, I got all 50s. I usually get 20s.
Right. Exactly.
They
So
must be.
nothing, if you notice, there is nothing newer than 2017 on the current currency that we are using. So
Right.
if you're getting 20s, 50s, fives, and things of that nature, you're not going to find anything newer than 2017 on it. Okay, as far as a federal note is concerned. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
You're
Mary.
welcome.
Cajun Girl, go ahead and unmute. Let's see your happy face.
All right. I know disinformation is necessary. I completely get that. I've been following the back channel since it pretty much first started, so I got that. I have followed Juan O'Savin through the different channels that he's been on for years and years. So he's been on, what do you call it, Nino Rodriguez's channel for quite a while. And I was listening to one that he recently did with Nino Rodriguez, and he's going all over the place, talking about how long this is going to be, and we aren't in the storm, and it's going to get a lot worse before it's going to get better. And about anybody can track this, just go on 107 Daily's page and just find the most recent one with David Nino. He was talking about scams. Okay. And he started to scoff and get real rude. And they were talking about different things that people are doing to scam others. And he was talking about the banks and banksters. But then he said, and all these dongs and dims that everybody thinks that they're zims and everything that they think they're going to get, they're not going to get nothing. And I mean, he was really loud, really boisterous, and really rude and really condescending. And I was just like, what? You got my dander up. And then I calmed down and I was just like, you know what, I've got so much trust in this and so many different people talking about it. I really think it's disinfo. What do you guys think?
I think it's disinformation also. And also the Bible tells us, be careful of who you trust. Be careful of who you follow.
Right. I've heard
okay,
both
in the
ways
end days, because there'll be prophets, there'll be false prophets and everybody else out there that you say, Jesus is in the desert. Go there, see him there. Jesus is over here in this church. Go and see him there. All right. Believe it not. Okay.
Yeah.
Because when he is revealed, he will be revealed to everyone, not just certain people in certain places. Okay.
And the Bible says, you won't know the day or the hour.
All right. Exactly. And also, if you want a lot more information, I posted on my channel an article that was done by Dr. Q, who I'm good friends with. And I just had a long conversation with him yesterday about a lot of things. And it explains the propaganda. It explains how the Mockingbird media works. It explains how the Bible teaches us, about these types of things. So read that on my Telegram channel in my chat. And it explains an awful lot, and it gives scripture to back it up. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Susan Meaton, go ahead, Susan.
Hello. I have two questions which are linked together. One, because I was sitting doing my presentation and the calculation of my money I need. Will there be an accountant who will prove what we have done and what we did with the money? Is the first question. And the other question is, if out of these projects we have in mind and will bring to life, other projects arise, who is then going to decide if we can spend the money on these projects?
First of all, you ask about accountants. I mean, accountants are not going to disappear off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
And are you referring to accountants for your existing currency or for the new currency?
For the new currency, for our projects, because it's big money.
That's big one, yes. Well, I believe a lot of the work will be done automatically by the QFS system, because it can track the movement of money 50 times backwards.
Okay.
So it is very possible that all this accountancy work will be done automatically. And the other reason is the accountancy actually necessary? Because if we're not paying taxes anymore, we were doing all this accountancy to pay our taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, also to run our businesses, maybe theirs, but you may find it's not really that necessary because it will be handled automatically on the QFS, which is a very powerful consciousness system, which we would identify as a computer.
Yeah. But how
Uh,
do they make sure that it's not fraudulent used again?
because they can see who you're sending the money to, or
And what
getting
it's
the money
being used
from,
for, and,
Okay.
and what it's being used for.
what you're
It
buying
won't-
for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So,
All right.
so I don't see that is going to be a major issue. It's going to be a change for us all. We've all got to get used to this new system, and I do understand people who are so used to the old system having trouble at the beginning working it all out. And I think it's for shows like ours and Charlie's and whatever to help people through this period.
Exactly.
But
All right. Does
we
that
answered your
help?
question.
Yeah. No, it's just, you know, I'm good with everything else besides figures.
Right. Okay.
Right.
And I
Right.
don't want my project to be, not coming to life because I just can't do the accounting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to watching figures, but just not in a financial way.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
All
Is that
right.
a figure of speech?
That's a
And-
figure of speech. Yes.
And
Okay.
who is deciding about new projects, about the funding of new projects?
Well, when you present your project,
Yeah.
then obviously it is going to be the people who are here, who you're presenting to, who will decide. But right now, they need people to do these humanitarian projects because the people who've been leading the world up to now, a lot of those are getting arrested.
Yeah.
So they need to be replaced by other people who are doing things which will help people. Now, I heard some talk recently where saying the word humanity. I think it was Lena who was saying this.
Right. Lena
Yes,
was
yesterday
on. Yeah.
was talking about the word humanity is not a good word. We should say mankind. Well, I personally, we understand humanity. We understand what mankind means. So either way, they need human beings to take the place of the people who are being arrested and to initiate and manage and run projects to help people. And that's what our job is. That's why we're getting paid.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's for the projects we present at the moment. But what is if in maybe 6 months' time there's another project coming out of the project?
Then that's fine.
That's fine.
It evolves. Remember, the only constant in this world is change. And as we move on and we find other things that need to be done, of course it's gonna morph into something more beautiful. All right. And the more things that we think about, the more things that we're going to be able to do. Okay. And come up with ways to accomplish those tasks.
And that's why we're also not getting all the money for Zims in one go. We'll be paid monthly or something, or quarterly.
Exactly.
So that we always have funds to carry on doing good work. And as new jobs come, we have the money to jump in and do them.
So there's not a yearly where we have to go to an interview to present what we have done.
No, if you have a new project,
yeah.
All right, that you think of, or what have you, then you just present again with
Yeah.
a new project. Okay?
Now they will be.
This will
watching
be
what
on
we're
an
doing.
ongoing basis. It's not one and done. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will be watching what we're doing because obviously they've given us a lot of money and they want to make sure that we're actually using it properly. Because there's going to be the odd person who will just buy a yacht, buy a private island, and not do a thing. That's not the point of it. Yeah.
Okay.
What this is all about, us doing the work to save humanity and help the poor people who were not available, who didn't know about these projects. We are the future world leaders.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because I think when people realize that we bring our dreams come true, some people will jump on board, but that they will miss. But they didn't have the opportunity now with the Sims so far, so they will probably ask, "How did you do it? Where did you get the funding from?"
Well, I'm just going to say, look, I'm running a business. It's doing well. End of story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Susan.
welcome.
All right. Peter, people had commented in the chat room there that we're like the odd couple. Okay. You know,
In what way?
Remember The Odd Couple, the movie and the television series?
I didn't see that. No.
You didn't see that? Okay. I'm Walter Matthau. You're Jack Lemmon. Okay. Or I'm Jack Klugman versus you're Tony Randall. Okay.
Well, I didn't watch those series, so those names
for those of you who get that, who know that reference, we are the odd couple for sure.
Well, that's right. Yeah. All I know is if life gives you a lemon, make lemonade.
Exactly. All right. And I'm loud and boisterous, and I don't, but he's a little bit more reserved than I am.
I'm reserved.
A little bit more than I am. All right. But anyway, Penny.
I think you don't know me well enough.
Penny, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. I'm new to this process. I'm so grateful that I found you, Billy and Peter. Thanks.
You're welcome. Yes. Where are you?
I'm in Devon, South Devon, England.
South Devon. Oh, right. I know the area. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have three projects that I'm starting to work on, and I think as I go through the process of working on them, I will settle on one project, or perhaps I'll present all three. I don't know if they are humanitarian enough, and I've got nobody to bounce my ideas off because everybody thinks I'm mad. So,
okay.
one project, I would buy a farm and farm it as an organic farm, and it would cover its own costs, and I would sell whatever was required at cost. So that would just keep going forever. There'd be a maintenance account and possibly expansion. So that one, is that
right.
humanitarian enough?
We're all going to need to feed. It's a basic necessity of life, that we need to eat. And food is definitely going to be an issue, particularly in the coming year. So I think that is definitely a go.
So instead of funding the project for a year, take your project, what you think it's going to cost for a yearly basis to feed X amount of people, okay? And you multiply that out by 50 years and fund the project for 50 years, okay? Instead of thinking small, think large, but, keep it local. All right. Don't have to take on the entire world. Just keep it local and focus on your own communities.
Did you see our last show where we talked about presenting?
Yeah.
I did. Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm going to take all of that advice, and I'm going to work as hard as I can to get that over. The other two ideas, I don't know if they're humanitarian enough. So one is for me so that one, I can do that straight away. I'm not scared about anything about it. Keeping it local would be great. The others I have to train and study. So one of them is to teach Tai Chi Gong, possibly go into schools or to go to homeschooling environments, or to anybody who wants to learn Tai Chi Gong, and I wouldn't charge for it, and also to teach art, and I wouldn't charge for that. Does that sound humanitarian enough?
I think it's a worthwhile project,
yeah.
All right, to teach people things, okay, that are interested in learning. All right, the arts are not going to go away, okay? We need to expand on them and teach them the right way. It's been perverted over the years, okay? So, yeah, I think that would be worthwhile projects. All right. And it's educational. So you approach it from the point of education. And I think that would be a worthwhile project.
Yeah. I mean, is there a way of scaling that so that instead of teaching people locally, you say, do a video thing, or have larger events where you can teach a larger number of people?
Oh, that sounds lovely. Okay, right. I'll put that in my plan. Okay,
what you do in that case is you build one first. You find out the operating costs of, you kind of figure on a year or whatnot, multiply that out. And then what you do is you model that one and build another one somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and you say,
right. you say,
okay, after I get this one up and running for 1 or 2 years, then I want to take this same idea and put it in other locations, okay, based on the same model, and you just multiply that out.
Okay, as I say, with that one, I'd still have to do quite a bit of training before I can start that one. And then the third one, I don't think the third one is humanitarian enough, because I want to build a community where, because I'm worried about my people skills, and you know, when you have a community together and then nobody does the gardening and nobody does the chopping the wood, or nobody does the planting of the trees, because they just, you know, I'd have to go and stay at that community in Scotland so that would take some preparation. Is it humanitarian enough to buy a farm and then build accommodation and rent out to people just because I would like to live in a community?
I would say it becomes humanitarian if you don't charge for the rent.
Right, exactly. So here's my idea.
Not yeah.
Here's my idea, and this is something that I'm going into my friend Dr. Q with. All right, is that we're going to put together, we have this place in mind, about 350 acres, all right, where we're going to take people who are in the foster care system, or people with Down syndrome and things of that nature, all right, that have no life skills, that we can teach them life skills on premises, okay, and perpetuate everything, and teach them farming, teach them how to work a farm and all the aspects that go along with that. Other things like working with technology and whatnot, find out what they have a passion for and help them build something of their own, okay, so that they have those life skills to take out and teach others.
Okay? Penny, what you're saying reminds me of a project I heard from my brother who lives in the USA, because he joined a similar project. There's going to be this problem with a massive lack of food. And what he was joining is a kind of community which is being set up where you could all go together and work the farm together, and then act together to protect yourselves, so that you could all commonly survive. So they could all survive the food shortages. So aspects of what you're talking about match that quite well, because you're going to have accommodation where people can move in and live on the farm. And then if they were all working together to create the food which they need to eat and become self-sufficient,
exactly,
then that is a way of people surviving. So that's very humanitarian.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and actually, Peter, I did have I really wanted to base that community around a house with children living in it, so that they would be cuddled and read to at night, and they could learn to plant their own flowers, their own food. They could learn to be carpenters. They could, however, will the money, so let's say I have an enormous amount of money, do I need to, will there be any investments so that I can keep it paying for itself?
Yes, right. You get the money. Yeah, I presume you have some Zim notes.
It's arriving tomorrow. It's being delivered tomorrow. I'm so late.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
With the Zim notes, you will have the money to pay for it all, so you do not need to charge these people to live there. The money you're getting from the Zim notes.
You basically
that one feels very ambitious.
Like I said, if there's a project going on right now that's in existence that you can model and just find out what their operating costs, simple ballpark figure of what their operating costs are for a year, right? And then take that and multiply it out by 50 years. Okay, there you go.
Okay, that's okay. Then thank you. That's made me feel a lot better. I think.
Yeah, I think your projects are fine. Yeah.
All right.
Great. I'm very grateful. So thank you so much, and thank you for being so entertaining.
You're welcome.
We do our best. Yeah.
Thank you, Penny. All right.
You guys.
Yep. Samantha Harding.
Hi guys. Hi there.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Hi there. So my first one is just speaking on behalf of some of the people. Could you by chance set up like an EBS form of Signal or Telegram channel for us, so that you can literally that'll be the channel where the message will go out for them, like when you receive the number.
Well, right now we have the Signal group, which I hear. I keep hearing from people that they're a little bit unruly there. I have to go in and sort them out.
Right.
We have the Telegram channel, and we have the forum, and we can send out emails. So we're going to do all four. As soon as we hear, we're going to use all four to inform as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now I'm saying I follow the Telegram one. I took myself off Signal because I thought the intention was that you just send notifications out. I'm not interested in chat. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
Right.
The notifications were just pinging, and I don't want that going on all the time. So I've taken myself off of that. But that's fine. I was just wondering if you would, but that I can keep up with the other channel.
Yeah.
The other one was a couple of weeks ago. You mentioned about there be travel disruptions.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the news article today on the BBC that BA cancelled all flights in the UK today.
Mm-hmm.
A week ago, I called them up to query something about my flight because I wanted to change it, blah, blah, blah. And they said, I got like an out of office sort of message that basically said the sales team will not be available for 3 weeks. So I was like, okay. And I also wasn't able to log into my flight to change it. It actually said it didn't recognize my flight number. So
very interesting, isn't it?
That happens.
So where were you going to fly
I might
to?
be back. UK.
To the UK. Okay, yeah. Well,
my return flight, coming back.
Oh, okay. So you don't normally live in Jamaica. Is it
50-50?
50-50. Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I have been hearing that British Airways has got into a lot of trouble because they have vaccinated a lot of their pilots, and now the pilots are starting falling down dead, even mid-flight. So they're in deep shit, so to speak.
Yeah, they actually said it's due to staffing issues, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
also EasyJet as well.
So I think that is behind a lot of the British Airways cancels, and also if the airlines know what is happening with the change to the GESARA, they most likely do know. Then they're going to. Then they also know that that it's part of the program that nobody is supposed to move for a while, while the deep state actors are being arrested. So that all makes sense that they're cancelling flights.
Definitely. It was like almost as say the sales team weren't available, so I couldn't even book a flight, say for a year's time or something like that. They weren't entertaining that.
Right.
My last one was, can I ask your opinion on Project Looking Glass? The Project Looking Glass video is posted on Charlie Ward's BitChute.
Yeah, we were wondering when that was going to come up.
Because I thought, do you know what
the elephant in the room has reared its ugly head.
Yeah,
do you know, I listened to it and I thought, okay, interesting, that's fine. I understand numerous timelines, etc. What it did though is it made me review and rethink my humanitarian project, like what the needs could possibly be. But yeah, what's your opinion on these guys?
Right, okay, yeah, I was actually chatting to Billy about this. In fact, Billy called me up last night and said, are you aware of these 3 videos? And I hadn't actually watched them at that point. So he said, you go and watch them because I'm sure that will come up in the show. So I did watch them. I sent him my opinion, and the bets were on is who would bring it up first.
Was I on the list?
I had a lengthy conversation with Doc Q about this yesterday morning after I sent him the videos for review, and then Peter and I talked about it, and it's like, you know what? There's only so much that we can do as individuals, but collectively, okay, as conscious human beings, all right, as light workers, all right, we can collectively send out forces in collectively, okay, with love and light, so that everything that we do is focused on positive change, okay, instead of letting the forces of evil take over us, spreading fear and disinformation, all right, in order to scare the masses, all right. That's not what we're all about. What we're about is, let's think about this, all right, and let's try to make it not happen by informing as many people as we possibly can and getting people to pray and meditate together in order to create that positive change. There are more of us than there are of them. That's what it's all about. We have to focus our energies in creating positive change.
Well, yeah, I mean, what I told Billy yesterday, after I watched the films, is that, well, there's nothing we can do to change that. So whatever they're talking about is either going to happen or it's not going to happen. It's not up to us to change it. I wish it was. Then I think it's either a means to bring us down. In other words, this could be a story put out with the dark hats, because we don't know who released those messages. Yeah, it's pretty anonymous. So it could be just a clever ploy to bring us down and make us sort of give up or lose hope or whatever. And, you know, nefarious things like that do happen in situations like this. So it could be that it's just nothing at all, and it's just something to get us worried, because they need fear. They need people to be fearful.
I did think that too. And one of them, they address something about, oh, this happens at blah blah blah. This line, Joe Biden might give the go ahead for nuclear war. I'm thinking, well, I don't think that's going to happen if it's not.
Well, Joe Biden has no nuclear clothes. He can't.
He doesn't have the football.
How could that even be on the timeline then? So it was a really, really odd. I found it a really odd posting, because it was a bit of a, I suppose, if you couldn't see the bigger picture, it could bring you down. Do you see what I mean?
That's right.
Really odd that he posted that.
You can either believe the fear mongering and wallow in fear and pray, you know, then and save us, or just say we're not going to allow this to happen. Okay, take positive force and move it against evil. Okay,
I mean, they were announcing a big nuclear explosion in New York on the 18th.
Right.
Well, if we know about it, the Alliance knows about it, and the Alliance have all the military capabilities to detect a nuclear bomb, because they have very sensitive airplanes which can detect where nuclear energy plants are. So if there's a bomb in New York right now, they're going to find it, and they've got 8 days to do that. I'm sure they can find it in those 8 days. So I think we just what we can do is tell anybody we know who's actually in New York to take a holiday and go away from New York for that weekend.
Come and visit.
That would be good. Get out of that den of evil, you know, for a while.
Get out of it's not a nice place to be anyway, New York at the moment.
Right.
And so if you just get those people to go on holiday, so we'll better tell Mel K, I'm sure she knows, and just get them out of town for that date. And then on the 18th, we will find out if anything goes bang, or if nothing happens. And if nothing happens, then we know we've won.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Samantha.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Take care. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Ron West. Hello, Ron. Peter and I got your message that you sent me, and you know, we were going over some things with that. And I think the answer to your question is, who's going to take over? Well, the military is going to take over. That's the simple answer to everything. We're talking about governments worldwide. And, you know, when you're talking about who's going to take over Great Britain, who's going to take over the United States, who's going to take over Russia, who's going to take over China,
the alliance,
it's the alliance. It's the whole group. And we're talking about a military alliance here.
Okay, that leads me on to the other question I actually put on your site, because you mentioned on the Dinar Chronicles, it was on Friday, and I've answered it, or I put a comment by it, but literally it was exactly that. Was okay for the rest of the world, I can understand. One of the things that does concern me, though, is the way the military in the UK are behaving. Because if you think about it, NATO was started in the UK, and they're very, very much aligned with the United Nations, which is a
right. But are we talking about the military?
During our time of getting out of the EU, that was the third thing. They put the army in with the military in with the EU. So is that still in existence, or are they part of the alliance now?
Well, what I've been hearing is that there are different militaries. You have the army, you have the navy. You have military intelligence and things like that. I'm not sure if this applies to the UK, but in the USA, it's like the army is still controlled by the bad guys, and the navy is controlled by the good guys.
Okay.
And the navy has expanded into the space force as well. So you're going to have some aspects of the military on the wrong side and some aspects on the right side. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to see the army and the navy fighting each other. I think. I think something is going to be worked out, and I think they might be arresting any nefarious generals in time to stop that.
Right. Like any military, you're going to have good players, you're going to have bad players. And our job is to take out the bad players in each of the militaries.
Well, if you have a look at the response that was on your website, you'll understand why I asked the question. On your Telegram, you'll answer the guy called Jeff somebody who I've never seen before. He's not a friend or anything.
Yeah, well, we've had some infiltration.
Just say, I want to turn this into positive now because
sure.
Two things I can say. The last question about what was put out by Charlie Ward, it's negative, and if you listen to negative, it's fear mongering. So if you keep your mind on a positive scale, you'll go over it because you'll work out ways of how to make fun of it basically and enjoy that particular time by doing what you said. Go on holiday. If you're
That's right. Yes.
But the other thing that I wanted to give you too was Penny, who's down in Devon. She's actually thinking about what I've been doing for a long time. There is a disabled family down in the next county in Cornwall that have been actually building a berry strip, which is all organic fruits and berries for over 2 years now, and they need help because they don't have any money. And they've been hit pretty hard. But those are the people that Penny needs to get in touch with. So
sounds good.
Do what I did last week, because since I spoke last week about the Zim thing, the exchange, I've had two people from your organisation come to me. One was Norma down in Lymington, and the other one was a guy in Chichester. Well, I put the guy in Chichester into a group in Chichester. So that's all again building. They bought a greenhouses group and want to grow organic food for the community there. So I think everything starts in the community.
That's right. Really, yeah.
Exactly. Those connections that you guys are making, that's great. That's what this is all about.
That's why I think a community like ours is so important, because we're all like-minded people and we can help each other. What I would suggest to you, Ron, if you have the contact details of the people which Penny needs to contact,
I do.
You can use the chat here on this Zoom meeting to communicate directly with Penny and just send her the information.
Right, the way you do that.
But she was on just two before me, so
I can actually see her on the screen here.
Right. What you do, Ron, is if you see the three dots in the upper right hand portion of your screen, you click there and you can on the person's picture, in their video, and you can send a direct message. You can send a direct message to them, in chat. Okay.
Sorry, I was in the communications business before I came here. So, what I want to try and say to you guys is, if you keep things on a positive scale and you put the message out there what you want to do, in other words, do in your meditation or in your thinking about where we're going, put stuff in your subconscious, you will find people will come back to you.
Absolutely,
That's what happens in life, and it's happened to me most of my life. So if you're doing good and looking for people who are looking for you, that's attraction marketing, is what they used to call it now.
That's right. That's exactly what we're planning to do. We're keeping things positive. That's what
Penny not worrying is really to say there are people out there already looking to do what you want to do. And if you do it in your local community, then people will come to you. Okay.
Team up. All right. But thank you, Ron. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Right. Thank you, Ron.
Timothy. I'm not going to butcher your name here, Timothy.
Yeah, it's not an easy name to pronounce. Yes, you're doing a wonderful job, both you and Peter. And thank you for your for your shows you're putting on.
Yeah.
Not always.
Thank you. The next one.
Yeah, not always on all of them, but I always do try and catch up with what you've been saying. So. Yes, they're very, very interesting. So first of all, Billy, I just wanted to remark on that big structure. You've got a steel structure around you, haven't you?
You mean the portal that's sitting behind me here?
Yeah, so you were saying that's a portal, is it?
Well, it was done in very nefarious circumstances, okay? They were looking for a way in order to build a tunnel out to what is known as the black hole under St. Louis International Airport. Right. St. Louis International Airport and where my father used to work, McDonnell Douglas, right off one of the runways there. That was during the 50s and 60s and early 70s. St. Louis was the #1 strike point for a nuclear strike from our enemies. And that was because the black hole, as it is known, was where the original computers for our nuclear defense, strategic defense, was located before they built NORAD out in Cheyenne Mountain. Well, they wanted to get submarines up to that area right there. Okay. But they could not bypass what is known as the chain of rocks in the Mississippi River. Okay. It is impassable. That's why they built the lock and dam and the canal to get around the chain of rocks in the Mississippi River. And what they did was they cleaned out the entire riverfront of businesses, apartments, and everything else by calling eminent domain. All right. And when they built the arch grounds, they actually started digging the submarine tunnel underneath the arch grounds, and it follows out Highway 70, okay, out to St. Louis International Airport, and then dumps out into the Missouri River underneath what is known as the Blanchette Bridge. So if you follow the route Highway 70 coming up from downtown St. Louis out to St. Charles, that is what that was all about. That was the project.
The reason I asked you that was because we've actually got one absolutely identical to that down where now I live.
Where's that?
It's in Folkestone. You can Google it in Kent. In England.
Right. Okay. I've been to Folkestone, but normally just travelling through to.
There's a road called the Road of Remembrance, where all the where they had all the ships that went across to France. And the troops used to go down the Road of Remembrance, and the top of the Road of Remembrance, they put this exactly identical to what you got there.
Right.
That was the reason I asked. That was all.
Oh, interesting.
Right. No, that's very interesting. The arch that we have behind us is made out of solid stainless, or not solid, but it's hollow on the inside, but stainless steel. Each section weighs as much as a locomotive, going all the way up, and it's 630 feet tall by 630 feet wide.
Right.
Okay, so it's symmetrical.
Right. That may be a little bit bigger than the one we've got, but the one I should perhaps taken a picture of it and shown you it, but you're quite welcome to. I'm sure you could just Google.
I'll have to check it out, but a lot of the arches that you'll find, the Arch de Triomphe and other arches around the world, were built with Tesla energy in mind. Okay. And that's throughout history. I mean, you look in various different countries around the world that have arches erected, you'll find different pieces of symbolism and things of that nature, connecting it to ancient Egypt and to Tesla energy.
So was it the Masons who put it up then?
Yes, it was.
Okay, right. Right. So we'll move on to the next question quickly, and very quick.
Okay.
Yeah, with the lobster wallet, do you know anything about the, as far as the stock exchanges, other companies moving over to that particular?
I have no idea.
I've been hearing about it. It has been recently coming up that lobster is going to be part of the new system, but to date, I haven't spent any time looking into that. Maybe this is confirmation. That's going to be something I'm going to have to do.
I would have to refer you to the person that I know is the best at crypto, and that's Whiplash 347 on Telegram.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually aware of him. Yes. Yeah.
All right, but he's the definitive expert as far as I'm concerned.
Right, okay. I've been on long enough. I'll let somebody else come on. So.
Yeah. All right, Timothy. Thank you,
Timothy.
Bye bye.
All right, Martin Weeks, go ahead.
Oh, hi guys.
Hi, Martin.
Hi, Martin. Yeah.
That's all you do. Just got two quick questions. You mentioned at the last meeting, you said about local councils will only be about 10% active of what they are now.
Entire governments will only be about 10%. Governments, yeah.
That is something which has been generally said, that the governments will be only 10% the size of what they are now. Now, how that is spread out, where those 10% are, has not really been well explained. And I think we're going to have to wait to find out. that there is going to be some need for local governments, because you're still going to need roads and houses and schools and things to be organized somehow. So I'm not too sure exactly how that's going to play out, but I think things are going to be somewhat different. And of course, we're moving to common law, so things are going to look different. I think we're going to have to wait for that, because I haven't seen enough information yet exactly how local councils are going to be affected.
Right, but it's going to be up to each of us to take care of our own communities. All right, to step in and root out evil and not let things happen the way they used to happen. All right, especially with school boards and things of that nature. So get involved in your local communities and keep focused on your local communities so you can take out those nefarious characters.
Yeah, that's right. And remember, we are the ones being given money to do projects. So running a local council could be maybe one of those jobs for us, our team, to get involved with, because they want honest people. Because the people who've been in councils, I mean, not every. There's going to be good and bad people in every place, but there are bad people who've been there who've been doing nefarious things, and the idea is to kick them out and replace them with honest people. And finding the honest people is going to be a job maybe we can get involved in.
Yeah, I was just wondering about. I mean, I've got a local park. I mean, if the council would lose control of that, I could step in and take over there. So
that's right. Yeah. So where are you? You sound like Wales.
Wales, yeah, South Wales. I live in a small town.
Okay.
And you had a Welsh accent, so that's why I guess Wales.
Thanks. Yeah, well done for noticing that. Yeah. Just one other point. This is probably the wrong thing to say right now with the incoming food shortages, but is it going to be a scaling back of these globalist supermarkets?
Walmart, Target. A lot of those big ones like that, yeah, they are used nefariously. There are underground tunnels that actually connect the local Walmarts to the distribution centers in each state. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to find many Walmarts in Wales.
Nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was just thinking of all these globalist supermarkets. I mean, there's 4 of them in my town. I only live in a small town, and we're still going to need food, and we're still going to need to buy food. So something is going to happen. Maybe just the ownership of those supermarkets will change. Yeah,
exactly.
I just want to focus more on local stores, local produce kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, whenever they start to go under, buy them all up.
I was thinking
and start something anew. Okay,
that's right. If you have the currency, then why not spend it on doing good? That's what it's all about.
All right. Thank you, Martin.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Matthew. Hello, Matthew.
Hello, is that me?
Yep, that's you.
Oh, okay, sorry. Give me 1 second.
Well, that's 1 second gone. But these are long seconds you have.
1001, 1002, 1000.
Well, no, you said 006, 007.
I'm ready.
Okay.
With the sorry about that. With the banks being Basel III compliant, now, if hypothetically someone's coming in with $100 million, will they have the gold to back that sort of money?
They have
$1 billion is not much. They got trillions to spend on rebuilding. 100 million. One of us could get 100 million if we
right. What I've been told is worldwide, all the gold that was seized and gotten back and put into the quantum financial system and whatnot is somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 quintillion. All right, think about that for just a moment. 5 quintillion.
To make that easier to understand, they have enough money to give every living person on this planet $1 million.
Basically.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Matthew.
Appreciate you guys.
You're welcome.
Sure. Thank you. All right. Joan. Hello, Joan.
Hello, I don't have a camera, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. So you talked about the food shortages, etc. I live in Canada,
Right.
and we have a lot of local farms and a lot of stuff like that. So you said to get food for a year. I have dried goods like rices and that kind of thing. But I mentioned it to my son and his kind of immediate reaction, and he's also on the other side of the coin to me. And he was saying, well, Mom, then I should go and get, and he's an adult. Well, I should go and get my gun license, because if it gets as bad as you guys are all saying it's going to be, we need to protect our homes. And that kind of, it kind of put me into a bit of a tailspin, because I don't view the world, going back to the other gentleman that talked, I create my world and I'm very happy with my world and I've done very well with it. So it's it's like, what does that look like when you keep saying, you know, you've got to stock up for a year? And how do we store that, and how do we protect it? Because I would rather share with my neighbor than fight my neighbor.
Yeah, no, I understand. You look at Venezuela, what happened in Venezuela, because Venezuela's already been through this. And you people get desperate if they can't buy food, because they either can't afford it because it's way too expensive, or all the stores are just simply empty. Then people do start getting violent and do start doing everything they can to get food. And if they know that a neighbor has some food stuck in their cellar, then they're going to attack that neighbor just to get the food out of the cellar. So it can get pretty nasty if we use Venezuela as an example. So that's why you need.
So do you envision it for the world then, Peter?
Well, there's going to be a worldwide hunger, definitely, because
I think there's going to be pockets of instability, okay, especially in the heavily populated urban areas. All right, more rural, I don't think you're going to have to worry about as much.
Except the city people will be going into the rural place. They're going to go to the farms and whatever, because they're going to be looking for food. Anything. I mean, they want to survive, obviously. So if you do have food, either buy enough food so you can feed other people, or you keep quiet and just keep the money, keep the food well hidden. The cellar is going to be the first place people look. So find other places where you can hide it, and not everything in one place, because if one thing gets taken, then another. It's horrible thinking, actually, of a future which is like this. And I'm really hoping that these replicators are released quickly, and that they can replicate the food and feed the world that way. It's very possible that's
right.
Going to happen.
But also you have to understand too, comprehend that we're going into martial law as well. And so there's going to be military out there that's going to be protecting the streets. Just take care of your own and take care of family and whatnot. Don't go running out in the streets trying to be vigilantes or anything like that. Just protect your own. Okay. And you know, that's the best advice that I can give.
Yeah,
that's great. And that kind of segues into my second question, and I won't take a long time. So I had asked you before about the younger people. So I do have 2 adult sons who we all work together in a business, and you had asked about trade. So how long from a timing perspective? So I know they're very comfortable in doing what they're doing, but as the world changes, there's going to be elections, and then it's going to take time for things to get in. So are we looking at sort of a year from now? Because you're saying, you know, I'm plus 60, so I should be getting a monthly amount relatively quickly. But the younger people, how long does it roll out for them? As you say, there's going to be lots of jobs, there's going to be, but how do you orchestrate all of that?
Well, find something that they're good at, even if it is, you know, doing something that has something to do with.
But that's sort of a platitude. But Billy, that's sort of a platitude. No, I get that. That's sort of a platitude.
That's not what you want to hear. No.
It's more like, I'm a very visual person. So it's like, okay, we're going to have elections. We're going to have new people in place. And now there's certain businesses, if we do have the replicators, if we have the med beds, there's certain occupations that will no longer be part of the landscape, but that's not going to happen immediately. So are we kind of saying, okay, we have to wait for all of this to unroll, but are we waiting a month, 3 months?
No, look, put it this way. We are expecting to get through our Zim bonds large amounts of money for our projects. Now, these are humanitarian projects, so they're designed to help people in emergencies. So it is up to us. And when we have the money, we could get the money this month if we're lucky, yeah, or April or May. So it is up to us to then do what we can to use these funds to help these people survive this area. So we're not dependent on some government to do something. We are the ones doing it.
So
That's
with
how
the
you
Zim
think about
bonds,
it.
I did, the Zims I did, you said it was probably about 30 cents that we
30
would
cents
get,
per million is the going rate.
which actually is 300,000. You've been saying 30 million. I did the
no,
math on it.
we've done it.
For
We
the
checked it.
for
30 million
for the
is good.
100, yeah, for
No,
the
for the
100
trillion.
100 trillion. If you work it out,
100 trillion. I'm sorry.
for 100 trillion notes.
Yes. Yeah, it's 30 million.
30 million.
Yeah, I did 1 trillion, not 100
No,
trillion.
100.
You're
Yeah,
right.
with 1 trillion, it's less, obviously.
So then when we get those funds, then we can help to, so if everybody has those funds, then would we not be able to help the neighbors and the family?
Of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's up to you what you do with the money, but obviously if you put this in a plan, and if you work out that to feed your town, for example, you need so and such money, put that in a project, and maybe you'll get that money and then buy the food in now while it's still available.
Build greenhouses.
Yeah,
Exactly.
build greenhouses, whatever.
In storage spaces, get it all taken care of. I mean, the basics behind life: shelter, food, water.
That's
right. Okay.
We have to get out of the concept of depending on other people to do this. If we have the money, it's our responsibility to make this happen.
Exactly. And then what you do is you become a logistics coordinator at that point, just getting it to the people.
I would be good at that.
Okay.
I currently do that in my family now. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. So you figure, you look at your town, how big is your town? What's the populace?
Millions.
And then you figure, $25,000 a year in order to, or per person in order to feed, house and do all that stuff with one person, and you multiply it out by your population.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Joan. All right. Karen Morton. Hello, Karen. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Once again, don't have a camera. I know. Sorry. I have a twofold question.
Okay.
First off, I'm almost 60, and I know that my projects are very important to me and very important to get them started. I'm just wondering if, as it involves or I get started, we get a group of people working with me that are like-minded. I've been working since I was 14, and this would be the first time I would probably be able to afford to take some time off and take a breather. I'm just wondering if that will inhibit me getting my projects, or if I do that.
No. We can all take a holiday, and we can all buy a house and buy a car and stuff like that. They're kind of expecting us to do that, because to set up a project, to get a project running, you can't suddenly start a multi-million-dollar project overnight. And when you go on your little holiday, I don't know how long you want to go for, but you can do some planning actually on your holiday. You can sort of take some paper or a notebook or something, or a computer, and then you can do it. Then you can spend an hour maybe of your holiday, each day, just planning your project. That's perfectly legitimate.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like rule number 1: pay yourself. Okay. Take care of yourself.
It's kind of a self-preservation thing at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we have a responsibility to help others, so we have to make sure that we are okay first, and then we can help. It's just like in an aeroplane when they tell you that if the air mask falls down, put it on yourself first before you help others. Because if you don't have any air, and you're incapable of helping others, so you're in the same case here. You have to make sure that you can survive, so you can then help other people.
Exactly.
Well, the point I had not heard it come up before, and it's as I'm planning and writing and planning, that just came to me because it's just never been an option for me before, really.
Right. I mean, you don't want to be selfish, but you don't want to be selfless either. Okay.
Well, true. Good point.
All
And my
right.
next part of the question is, you're saying that when we go in and we give our project presentation at the redemption centers, that that they're understanding already that it's going to evolve into other things as it moves forward.
And the only constant in this world is change. So of course it's going to morph over time.
But it should be in your business plan what you want to do.
Right.
Right. Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Derrick Crockford. Hello, Derrick.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Derrick.
Hi. I got a question on the business plan. If I do 2 to 3 pages per each project, do you think that to bring to the meeting, do you think that would be adequate?
Well, it depends how good the 2 to 3 pages are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think 2 to 3 pages is probably a little bit short. I mean, I think 10 pages is probably about right. But it's all about your project. You've got to tell the story. It's somebody who's never heard about your project before has got to understand where you're coming from, what you want to do, and that you're capable of doing the job.
Okay.
All right.
So
Does that make
expand
sense?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Expand a little bit. Yeah. A little bit, a little bit of detail never hurts.
Ask someone who's never heard of your project before to read through it and see if they understand what you want to do.
See if they can get the same vision that you have just from what you give them to read.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Does
good.
that make sense?
Yeah. And then
Makes
watch our last
sense.
show, and then we fill you in on some of the details.
Okay. All right. Anything else there?
Gotcha. Oh, thank you much. No, that's it.
Okay. You're welcome.
All right. Gina Finero. Hello, Gina.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Hello, Gina.
Hi. I've been thinking and listening to you about how you say how the government's going to really downsize a lot. And so my homeless shelters really depend on a lot of federal funding and somewhat a little bit of state. So when these governments really downsize in my homeless shelters that I'm wanting to support, that means that their federal funding is probably going to go too, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's why we're getting the money to set up our projects.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm just making sure that I completely understand what's going on. Comprehend. I'm sorry. Comprehend. Comprehend.
I have problems with it too.
I know.
We all fall into that.
Yeah. It's just habit, I guess. So my funding really is going to become into play very important for them, obviously, since they're not going to have anything. Okay. So I've never been a project manager before. So when I go to these meetings, I mean, I've been, had supervisor positions at work, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I could delegate because that's really pretty much all I'm going to be doing is delegating. So these funds that we get, how are we going to be able, or maybe this is part of my business plan that I need to work out as far as like, how much do I delegate to these centers? How often? How much? That kind of thing. Is that going to be part of it?
All right. These centers all have operating costs. If you can find out the operating costs for the center for a year, okay, a ballpark figure. All right. And then let's take that and multiply it out by how many people you're actually touching. Okay. Divided up by how many people are being touched right now by that program. All right. And then let's expand on that and then build a base model. All right, of what you want to do, and then copy that model into other areas, into other communities. All right, and it just blossoms from there. But the idea is to just simply break it down from a ballpark figure of how much, you think it's going to cost in order to fund that particular project for a year, and then you multiply it out by 50 years.
Okay, with room to grow. Apparently.
With room to go, and with education involved in it, and self-reliant skills, things of that nature. It's
kind of like
not
a learning
about
process, and I'll just kind of learn and grow as I go with it.
Exactly, but you don't want to just give
needs.
You don't want to just give people a handout. You want to give them a helping hand up. Okay. All right. Teach them.
I guess
something.
I'll just.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess I'll figure it out as I go along.
Yeah. What there's this old saying. If you give a hungry person a fish, you feed them for one day. If you teach them the fish, you teach them for a life. You feed them for a lifetime.
Exactly.
So they basically want us to be really intertwined and involved in all of these projects to make sure that everything in the money is being used according to like it's supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure exactly how involved I was supposed to be, but apparently really involved. So
well, I mean, you know, to the point of where you know that the people that you're hiring to do the job are doing the job.
Right.
Okay.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of us are going to get confused when we suddenly are in positions of power or whatever because we have the funds to do things. So we're going to keep this community running, and then we're going to basically help each other to get through all this.
Yeah, because it's a little overwhelming and intimidating when you're taking on something so huge and so important. You've never done that before.
Well,
yeah,
that's
it's a little
right.
scary. Yeah.
Okay. We're all the same boat. Yeah?
Okay.
But
Thank
that's
you.
That's what I mean by, you know, starting small, okay, in your own local communities, and then branch out from there. Okay.
Okay. I
All
will.
right.
Thank you so much. All right.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
guys.
Thank you, Gina. Grant. Hello, Grant.
I'm hearing a lot of questions about budgeting in the now or 10 years ago, but what do you perceive is going to happen when people have to start understanding blockchain technology, crypto technology, and where the world is going 5 years from now? Have you had anybody come to you, say that, like Stellar folks or what have you, and say they're willing to give a presentation on how to handle money?
Not as yet, because the information hasn't fully been released to the public. Okay. What we are waiting on is for it to be released, and then it's going to be a slow education process, because people like you and me, okay, I'm in, you know, my late 50s now, going to level up to level 59 this year. Okay. I don't get older. I
Thank
just
you,
level
by
up
the
every
way.
year.
I'll take that 59.
Okay. So, you know, it's going to be an education process, because we grew up on different technologies. Okay. It's just like learning how to use a computer versus using a banger typewriter. Okay. Or an electric typewriter versus a banger typewriter. It's just learning how to use the system properly as we move forward. Okay. And we grew up on an older technology. Okay. So it's just a matter of learning the new technology as we move forward. Like you're using your iPhone now. You had to learn how to use that iPhone, correct? And slowly over time, you learned how to use the smartphone technology to your advantage. Same thing.
That's right.
When we go, okay, my last question, I'll be brief. Back 2 questions, hint, hint. When we go into the redemption centers, will we be issued a wallet, digital wallet?
We think so. Well, yeah, we think so, because you've got to be able to have the funds some way, and I think we may even get a Q phone at the meeting.
Right, that'll have all that on it.
Do I know which
digital? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So yes, we will get an account of some form, because obviously they're giving us funds, and they'll be giving us a plastic card, as from what I'm hearing, so like a debit card or something. So there's obviously going to be an account attached to that, and I understand that the Q phones will be used for us to manage the money in those accounts. And obviously there's going to be training. I mean, everybody's going in the same boat. Everybody's got to learn how to use the new Q phone, how to use the new bank. So I think there's going to be major educational efforts to get people up to speed, and that alone could be a project, training people how to use this new technology.
Exactly.
One last comment on that. If there is going to be the issuance of some kind of wallet, it takes 15 minutes at least to set one up. Are they going to account for that in our time we have with them?
They'll probably have had it set up before you even go to the meeting.
Right. And the actual meeting will be with a committee. And then if you need technical help with something, there'll probably be somebody else to help you with the technical aspect of it, not the committee itself.
One caution with that, I would be very concerned about the 24 code words that you're going to put into that wallet, somebody doing that without me present.
Well,
it should just be me writing those down. That's what I'm saying. This could take 15 minutes just to set your wallet up.
Yeah, it could be. Well,
right, but they'll go through all that with you at your appointment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm wanting to say, because then when you do that, then what I'm saying is what kind of presentation you're going to do. I'm going to use PowerPoint and with bullets. You're only going to have 5 minutes, 10 minutes, folks, and you better be snappy.
Right.
And
Beyond point, beyond point, everybody, you know, everybody's going to be in the same boat. We're all going to be nervous about it, but just be yourself, and just present it as quickly, but as succinctly as you possibly can. Okay.
Yeah, I have a manufacturer's rep who's given 101 PowerPoint presentations. I'm not worried about that. My concern is how prepared should I be for going into the quantum world? And I think you kind of answered that.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's going to be a learning curve. That's all it is.
Everybody's going to learn, and people are tech savvy. I'm one of those tech savvy people, but I've never seen a Q phone. But I know it's based on an Android phone. I certainly know how to use an Android phone. So I think, you know, people who are tech savvy are going to very quickly learn how to do it and then advise others.
Exactly.
Yes, iPhone users are going to go kicking and screaming into that world.
Well, yeah,
that's possible. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
You'll have to get a real phone for a change.
All right. Thank you, Grant.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Patricia Hilliard. Up, you got to unmute, dear.
You got to unmute.
Thank you.
There you are.
Us iPhone user went kicking and screaming when we transitioned from Android to iPhone. So we're used to kicking and screaming.
Right, yeah.
First, I want to thank you for all the assistance. And I've been having a lot of fun the last few days putting a PowerPoint. I've got a 10-page PowerPoint with lots of pictures. But then most important, my project is going to be transforming the homeless. I've worked with homeless since I was 18 and I'm 71 now. So I've had a lot. I've had a healing arts center and I've had 3 yoga studios that I've had in the past however many years.
Well, but you've leveled up rather nicely.
Well, sounds like you're doing some good work there.
Yeah, well, yoga helps you stay young.
There you go.
So on my spreadsheet that I put in, that seems to be most important. I have a year. I have projected expenses for 2023, and then I have startup expenses. But what I'm concerned with as I'm writing all these down is things aren't going to be the same way. Like, are we going to need insurance? Is that going to be the same? Our utilities aren't going to be the same as what I'm used to. So it's kind of hard to project.
All right, let's not get into too much of the nitty-gritty details. What I'm saying is, let's start off with a ballpark figure of what it's going to cost in today's terms. What it's going to cost in order to fund your project.
That's right. We don't know what's coming. We can only say as we understand it today.
Yeah.
So they'll allow if I put 209,000 a year, but I always run on a shoestring. So I should expand that and make it more.
Yeah, definitely ask for more.
But think about it this way too. All right, we're also going to be coming into a time where we're also going to be reverting to 1955 prices.
Right. That's what's
all right. So we're basing everything off of what we know right now. Okay. Right. So that's all going to change.
Yeah. So we'll have more leeway to expand.
Exactly.
That's right. Yes.
So the other things then, when we first go in there, we'll get like startup, because I'm doing my startup separately because I have to buy a building and buy vans, etc. And then maybe a yearly expense, and then they distribute it monthly to us what we need for.
We're not exactly sure exactly how it's all going to play out. All right, just trust in the fact that you will get the funds necessary if your project is submitted and accepted.
You should have a wealth manager who will advise you on these things. I'm not sure if we're going to get paid monthly or quarterly. I've heard both. It could be that we get paid quarterly.
We'll have open communication with that advisor so we can come to him 2 months later if something changes.
That's right. And Billy and I will probably still be around. So
okay, yeah, I've signed up for 3 months. And then the 30 million that we get from the 100 trillion, we get part of that right now, correct, for our personal?
I'm not sure. The money which gets tranched is for the project. So it could be that you get the 30 million straight away, or it could, even that could be tried. We will have to wait and find out. But if you have, say, a project where you're going to get, say, 100 million, that you may get like $1 million now, and then over the next 100 years or next 100 months or however long your project is, you'll get the money you need to keep the project running.
Right, and
Okay.
I'm projecting 100 years for mine. And so when we get this one going and it's all operating nicely, we can then submit another project that I have in the future.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if your projects are running well, then you should be able to expand it and to help
Exactly.
more people.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
All right. Thank you, Patricia. Miranda.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes.
Yes, we
dear.
can.
Great. I just wanted to say about, because the person who mentioned earlier about what Juan O'Savin had said, and I wanted to know ideas because I've been listening to him on and off every so often for about a year, and he does seem a very solid person. But I don't, how well do you know about him?
I only know him from reputation and from what I've listened to him on various different interviews that he has given. All right. I don't know much about him at all. Some people say that he is JFK Jr. in, with a mask on and things of that nature. I don't know for sure.
I've watched a few of his programs, and while he did say some good things, I was not too impressed with him. Otherwise I'd be watching him regularly. And I have more trust in Mark Z than I do in Juan O'Savin.
Yeah.
Do you know how Mark Z gets his information then?
He has a lot of contacts with people very high up in the money change, in the alliance. So he gets well informed directly, like Mr. C, for example. So he has a number of contacts worldwide where he gets his information from.
Who's Mr. C?
Mr. Was it his name? Cortel?
Contrell.
He's a guy who's responsible for actually releasing the funds to us all.
Exactly.
He's going to be given the codes. He types in the codes into the system, and that will immediately switch the entire money system over to the new system.
Okay. Also, another gentleman on chat, after we'd heard this about what Juan had said, he said that Juan O'Savin said if Zims and dinar was paid out, it would devalue the currency, simple supply and demand. He said we bought into the lie. But thinking about this, the Zims, I don't see how that would be, because the Zims, for example, it's when we go for the redemption, it's like just a token, and we would be given the money in whatever currency.
Right. Okay. I'd look at it this way. At the moment, we have a lot of people with millions of money in the bank, right? And a lot of people who don't have millions of money in the bank. Now, the people with the millions right now are either good businessmen who've been doing good work, or people who've got the money through nefarious items. Now, the people with nefarious items will be taken out of the system because we don't want that anymore. But our community of people who know about Zims and have currency, we're probably about 200,000 people in the world. If we all become super rich, it's got nothing to do with the billions of people who are not involved. So it's just changing some people who are nefarious, who had big money, to some people with humanitarian projects who have big money. We're not going to be changing the world's finances. There's too few of us for that. But it puts us in front and center as the people making things happen. And we, at least I hope we do, all have good intentions. And the intentions will be checked when we are at our meetings. So they're, So it's not going to change the world's economy if a few 100,000 people get a few million.
Okay, lovely. Just one. I read the other day somebody explaining about the flow of money, about the fact that it's the flow of what we humans are doing, the value we're producing.
Yeah.
That's really what. And I was thinking that if they're giving this money, that's going to start a lot, the flow. So in other
words, it starts the flow of goodwill. Okay, it's not about the money. All right, it's about the flow of goodwill in heart-centered purposes. Okay, and heart-centered projects. That's what we really need to focus on, is not the monetary aspect of it, but our own value as men and women.
Think of it this way. You put petrol or diesel, I don't know which car you have, in your car, and so you can drive around a bit. Now the purpose is so you can drive. You don't buy the petrol to get rich on petrol. It is just a means to an end. It's just something you need in order to get from A to B.
Exactly.
Just like the money is a means to allow us to do the projects which you want to do.
Right. And also, when people have money, so the wealth then starts circulating and brings other people up because you're buying things from other people, so they're doing better.
That's right. That's what we're all about helping other people get out of this.
It's the circle of life.
Exactly. Okay,
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miranda.
You're welcome.
Outlaw 13A.
An outlaw, okay.
Hey guys, appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. My question is if you have one 10 trillion note, but you have $1 billion humanitarian project, will they fund the entire thing off of that? Or are you going to need to bring additional notes to that to increase the value?
Well, the way I would look at that is, look, you can get a 100 trillion note for about $250, $300. If you haven't got that money in order to run such a big project, then that does say something about you, because they do want people who are capable of handling money. And $250 or $300, whatever you.
Okay, so let me jump in. I have several Zim notes. I asked a simple question to say, if you only had one note, would they fund the entire thing? I have more notes than I'm going to be able to redeem.
Right. Okay.
Right, but so I don't need to go out.
Sorry, lost you there. Your signal faded out or something. Repeat, please.
Well, we can answer what he said so far. He's got several notes, and he basically wants to know if one note is enough. Well, if your one note is a $100 trillion note, of course that's enough. A 50 trillion note is probably enough.
Yeah.
And they're going to give an individual exchange rate according to your project. So if you don't have enough Zim notes, then it's likely you'll get a better rate. So to make up the difference, it's not about the Zim notes. It's about you showing some commitment that you want to do your project and get it done.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What I'm trying to figure out is, since I have more than enough Zim notes, if they're going to fund that off of one 100 trillion note, then I could gift those other notes to other individuals who could then run their projects.
Well,
yes.
Yeah, you can do that, but they have to do their own business plan, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Norma. Hello, Norma.
Hello.
Hello, Norma. I lost the bet. I thought you were the one who's going to bring up the elephant in the room. But,
Yep, exactly. So,
the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Okay. No, my comment was regarding the project Looking Glass. I think this is something that our intervention as human being is necessary, but we should visualize the best outcome possible. But I think even if the alliance is there and knows the problem, I think because we has to do our thing. We cannot expect the alliance all the time taking care of ourselves. So I think it's that a way to put our effort and to think positively, because we create our own reality. And if we think in a negative way, I don't want this to happen, or this is not going to happen, we are putting negative emotions. So
right.
Yeah.
At the subconscious level, the subconscious mind doesn't differentiate between negative and positive. So I'm going to do that regarding the thing that's they say going to happen on the 18th, to pray, meditate, but in a positive way, not with fear.
That's
because
right. That's good.
emotion is what we create from that.
If we all pray on that day that nothing happens, then millions do it. That's a tremendous force.
Yes,
that's focusing our energy. Yep.
Yeah, that's the only thing I wanted to comment. That is all.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
We just do what we need to do, and we focus on good, and that's what it's all about. Exactly.
That's right. So just think about it. I already knew you were going to discuss the elephant in the room before you said a word.
We anticipated.
We anticipated. In fact, I would have bet. I didn't really bet on this, but I would have thought if anybody's going to bring this up, it's Norma.
All right. Remember, God helps those who help themselves.
That's right.
Okay?
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you, Norma. Anette Rees Poulsen.
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, Anette.
Hi. So I'm from Denmark. I'm sorry I came in a bit late today. So apologies if I touch upon something you've already discussed.
No problem.
I have a very quick question. I'm a Dane. I need to present the project. I speak about this in English all the time. Can I do that in my native language, or do I need to do it in English? Would it be preferable that I did it in English?
So you're talking about when you go to the meeting, do you need to present it in English, or can you present it in Norwegian?
Well, I can present it in either or. The thing is, I have to do something in writing. So my whole project.
That's right. Yeah, that's an interesting question because we don't know what language your local representatives will speak. I mean, I live in Germany. I'm preparing it in English because I know most people who speak German also understand English. But I might I might translate it into German as well. Now, there's a very good, fantastic tool for translating text from one language to another. I use it every day. It's called DeepL. So if you go to deepl.com, you'll find that's the best automatic translation tool you've ever find. It's miles ahead of Google or whatever the other ones are.
I don't have a problem translating it. That's not the thing. But thank you. It's just whether it's I can think in English. I can think in Danish.
Yeah, that's right. Now, what I'm saying is, if you prepare it in both languages, then you're on the safe side.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only a few pages. Yeah.
You would bring 2 copies actually.
Yeah.
Or just English.
I say I'll do both languages, and then you're on the safe side. I'm probably going to do mine in both languages. I'm writing mine in English now. I'm quite finished, but I will translate. I will create a German version as well, just to be on the safe side. You don't know who you're meeting.
All right.
Okay. And then sorry. Then to my real question, because this was just a little quickie one.
That was a small one. Okay.
Because this has been bothering me a little bit for the past few days. So I think it was on your last presentation. It was also all over Telegram that we needed to present. We need to come up with an ID.
Yes.
So the IDs I'm in possession of are both fraudulent, or all of them are fraudulent, since I didn't issue them. All of this whole thing. This is a state thing. They actually represent my straw man.
Yes. I know that.
I spent years fighting this. When I realized this 12 years ago, I was furious. I spent years studying what to do, looking at, look what happened to Dean Clifford. There's so many ways and to claim your sovereignty. So when you said that thing about bringing an ID, it freaked me out a little bit, because I said, okay, I need to know. I mean, I spent 3 years fighting a parking ticket in Denmark. Everything is set up.
Right, yeah.
But you have all this.
If you've been so involved in this topic, you've probably got a common law court identity card.
No, I don't.
You don't?
Because
surprise me.
No, because I tried all kinds of things to fight off these nefarious, and then in the end, Dean Clifford, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he knew he was one of those. In the end, they didn't really care. They just put him in jail, beat him up, and left him there for 2 years.
Right.
So I knew that I'm not going to fight it. I didn't produce the fraud. It's put upon me.
Yes.
So I have stayed undecided for a while. But when I'm coming into a new world, if people's going to ask me for 2 pieces of ID that's freaking me out because I spend a lot of time finding parking tickets, digital post.
Yeah, they just want to know who you are. They just want you to prove
They just
who you
want
are.
some sort of confirmation of who you are. Okay.
I know, but it still freaked me out. Then what really freaked me out was right now the Danish government is pushing a new sort of digital ID called MitID. They're going through the banks, obviously. So I'm now cut off for access to my normal bank accounts because I will not. I refuse to sign that little nefarious thing. Just push the button and you're gonna be all right and download the app. Happen. So so right now I'm sort of waiting for the QFS, and that's why I'm really into the whole ID thing. Then we had Lena on, and this is, you might have discussed that in the first hour when I wasn't here yesterday, and she started talking about the whole humanitarian. What does humanitarian actually mean?
Yes, yes, we did talk about that.
And it just freaked me out completely. I have a great faith in this. I'm a great believer of it. I've been very calm up till this point, but that totally freaked me out because are we just gonna be upgraded now, slaves of the new system? Who are these people I'm going into? I mean, I never even had this thought, not for 1 second before, but now I do. Because of all, I know we are in a point of transition. I know that we're going to move out of this and that, but yeah, I just don't have a lot of trust anymore.
We are okay, but you have to look at it this way.
And the fact that they're calling it humanitarian project, if human means what Lena told us yesterday, I hope we should never ever use that word again, not even in our little settings here.
I think we're getting too caught up in the semantics of things. We can say potato, potato, tomato, tomato, in Caribbean versus Caribbean all day long. Okay, what the intent is what is in your heart. Whether you call it a humanitarian project, a mankind project, a prosperity project, or what have you, it's still going to come down to the same thing. All right. It's what's in your soul, what's in your heart that really comes down to it and what matters. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but and at the end of the day, they have to know that they're giving the money to the right person.
Right.
That's what the idea
I understand that. And I've until yesterday, because I've been spending 3 days thinking about that whole ID thing. What is my response going to be? Because I cannot just show them the ID without telling that I believe it to be fraudulent.
Well, they know they'll accept that because they know it's fraudulent.
Yeah, they know it's fraudulent. Yeah. Okay, so just bring what you have.
I know, I will. Yeah, but it just freaked me out. So I was wondering whether you discussed that earlier and if I was the only one being freaked out about it.
Well, we mentioned Lena a little bit, but we didn't talk about the ID issue, because I think everybody must have an ID of some kind, or it be a driving license or a passport or something. Yes, we know they come from the statute law people, but at the end of the day, most people don't have anything else. You know, few people have common law IDs. I have one. I have one from the common law court, so I can use that. But most people, you have to take people as they are, and the identity has been checked, even for the fraudulent documents. So, that we just have to live with that, with the thought that we're moving on into a new system.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was not. It was the fact that you mentioned the whole humanitarian thing, and
again, we're getting into semantics again. All right, I think you just bring what you have, and that should be plenty.
That's right. It's not about the words; it's about the intent.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Annette. Appreciate it. Diane Melnick. Hello, Diane.
Good afternoon from Wisconsin.
Hi, from Wisconsin, Diane.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm, and I really wanted to give something back to the farmers. They've been known to all of this, and they've actually started the NESARA, GESARA whole thing for us. And I'm not quite sure. I just, as you were all these talkings, I keep taking notes here, and I'm wondering, are all the regulations against when farmers sell something like the milk and that, the tests that they're having, are they going to be gone away with? Because if they are, we could set up one of those old Walmarts as a co-op, and have the farmers bring their products there. So
Common
that
law. It's
Okay.
common law. Okay. Do no harm. All right.
Right.
Versus all the rules and regulations that we are used to, which have been set up by the courts. All right. That are under the Bar Association, which is under the British Crown, and which have enslaved man. Common law, do no harm, period.
That's right.
Okay?
So farmers bringing their things there would be doing good, trying to sell it and providing. Now I'm wondering, I've heard there's possibly along with the shortage, it's because of drought that might be happening across our growing season here in Wisconsin. It's so short. I'm wondering, since they took away that, what is it, NAR or whatever it is, the weather thing away from
the HARP. Yeah.
The weather thing away from the deep state. Can they use it for good to help the farmers get rain when they need it in the summer?
Yeah, they can do that.
Yes, it's already been proven that they can.
They can, yes. In fact, Saudi Arabia, I think, was been doing a lot of testing with causing rain to happen, so that they can do things. At a time when they had a long drought there, they used these technologies, and the result was that so much rain came that all their gullies, which were not designed for so much rain, caused lots of flooding.
Exactly.
We already feel like we're about a month behind here. It looks like I still have a pile of snow out in the yard, and so it's like since they took the weather back, our weather is trying to catch up or do something. I saw the moon set the other night. I could not believe it. I've never seen a moon set before, and I took a picture of it. It was the oddest thing, but it's just like everything is kind of switching. It's like the world's turned on its axis or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate it. All right, Donna, you're up next.
That's the lady with the cat in the coal mine.
Yes. Donna.
Hi.
Hi, Donna.
I have a question. I did come in a little late. I hope no one else asked it. But when I get some of the money initially, I need to buy a property. One of the ones I'm going to buy is $3 million right off the bat.
Right.
Will I need to go through a realtor? Because typically when you go through a realtor, you have to apply for a loan. They have to get it approved through a bank. I mean, how do I show to them that I want to buy a property for cash immediately?
Well, that whole system of real estate and whatnot is probably going to go by the wayside. All right. Because there's so many rules and regulations that you have to go through. And the financing part of it, you won't have to worry about because you'll have the funds available immediately to purchase what you need to purchase.
Okay. Let me explain how this will happen in future, as it's been explained to me. You have a property, or rather, the other party has a property. You have the money, and you want to use this. Now, this can be negotiated over the QFS. What you do is you can put the money for the property into a special holding account, and the other person can put the deeds for this property into the special holding account, and then you come to an agreement, and when both sides say we've agreed, then the items are swapped and you then own the new property. So it's a kind of a trust account within the QFS. That's how it's explained how it'll work in future. So the money and the deeds of property are held in a safe place until you both are in agreement and you both say, yes, we want to do this. And then everything will happen immediately.
All right.
Yes, but understood. But one question is, I wouldn't know who the owner of the property is without a realtor.
You're a bit quiet. I couldn't understand that.
Public records should be able to tell you who the owner of the property is.
Right, but typically they go through a realtor.
Right. I
hear
get
what you're
that.
saying, but how do I get the owner to present his deed to the QFS system?
Well, you're
I
gonna,
don't know who it is.
it's a negotiation process with the owner of the property, of course. Now, if you want to use an intermediary, such as a quote unquote realtor, in order to get the stuff done, I think you were again coming into semantics here, whether we call them a realtor or an intermediary, in order to find out the information that you're looking for. As far as who owns the property is concerned, that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, you want to purchase the property, you're willing to offer X amount of dollars in order to purchase the property, and either they're going to give up the deeds or they're not. Okay. Again, it's going to be an educational process that we all have to go through in order to get that taken care of. Okay.
It is semantics, but when I call a realtor, they're going to go down and prove that you have 3 million in your back pocket, you know, and you're saying I need to go through the QFS system. They're not going to be familiar with it. So I mean, do I have to wait until the public's aware before I can buy something?
Well, it will take a while before public are aware of everything, but you know, we're all going to be new to the new system, and I think we're all going to first of all be learning new things, and there's going to be information available, and I think we're going to have to maybe wait a month or so until we know enough to understand exactly or comprehend exactly how this is all going to work. Maybe we can't buy things in April or May. Maybe you have to wait till June. But you know, for a property like that size, you need negotiation time anyway.
Exactly.
Okay,
All right.
Yes, very good. And if you don't mind, I have one. I'd like to read one quick Bible verse. It's called Isaiah 58:12. It says, "Those from among you shall build the old waste places. You shall raise up the foundations of many generations, and you shall be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of the streets to dwell in." That's us, right?
That is us.
That
is
okay.
us. That is us. Exactly. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Donna. So we're getting close to the end of time.
Yep. Exactly.
We
got
5 more
time
minutes
for
or whatever.
one or two more here. Okay.
That's right. Yep.
All right. Mike S., go ahead.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes,
we can
sir.
hear you. We just can't see you.
Okay, very good. That doesn't matter. My camera is off. A couple of things. First of all, very good job on the website. You did a very good job, Peter. Very easy to use and everything.
Thank you.
I'm very happy with that. I'm not so happy with the other platform, because you know I just have to keep on looking for things. But yours is very, very easy to use. Anyways,
yeah. What I would say to that is, I tried to advise the other team because you know, I understand this technology. I've been using it for years, and they just were not really listening, and so I just said, okay, all I can do is demonstrate how well we can do it, and it's up to them what they do.
Yes, I understand, and they're very busy too, so you have to kind of understand that too. And Dave is always moving around to different countries, and he doesn't have that much time. But anyway, so that's all said. One thing I wanted to mention: a lot of people are calling in to get information on lobster, and you guys don't have enough information on it. So I've been in crypto for a long time, so I can give them the direct information where they can find everything. And that would be Q as in quantum, S as in stellar, I as in initiative. So QSI resource.com.
QSI resource. Maybe you can write it in the chat as well, so people can see it.
If you can put that in the
Okay,
chat.
I will do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, you're going to be recording this so they can hear it.
Yes.
That's
Anyway,
right.
so
Oh yeah, it's all recorded. Yep.
If they go there, they can get all of their questions answered. So they don't have to go back and forth calling in every time and wondering what's happening and all that stuff. If they go to that website, everything is answered about lobster, about all the companies that are going to be listed on lobster that they can buy. Everything they need is right there.
Sounds like a good resource. So we'll have to look it up.
Now that's just for their information. My quick question is on Zim, and please don't get mad. I know you told us it's 30 million per $100 trillion, and I understand that. Let's say somebody has $500 trillion, right, on Zim. And they have several projects. Let's say 2 or 3 projects.
Right.
Do they still get only 30 million for themselves?
Well, it would be 30 million per 100 trillion, wouldn't it? So that would be 30
so
times
that would
5.
And that's all speculative. That's all speculative.
Yeah, we're getting speculative. What happens is you list all the currencies you have when you go to there, and then you then explain all your projects, and they will then decide how the money is allocated.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. I was just wondering because a lot of people have more than 100 trillion, so they if they have 2 or 3 projects, and they're thinking they're going to get 30 million per 100 trillion, so that would be 100. If they have 500 trillion, that would sum up to 150 trillion. I mean, it's $150 million for themselves, and then the rest goes to the projects, right?
Well, yeah,
But
but Elon Musk has more than that, so it's
right.
not,
I mean,
not unheard of.
the thing about it is, man, and I keep stressing this: how much do you really need? Okay, there have been people that have been buying up this stuff, and they think they're going to get a windfall on a lot of on a lot of different money. Is it for your own personal gain, or is it for the glory of God? And that's where you have to come into realization with it. All right, if you're just looking for a windfall, you may not get the rates that you think you're going to get. Okay, I can't stress this enough, folks. You have to really be heart-centered with all of this. I have one Zim note, one. Okay, that's it. 100 trillion. And if you think about 100 trillion for just a moment, our national debt is 30 trillion. Okay, that is 3 times our national debt plus 10 trillion.
Yeah, except you're not getting 100 trillion. You're getting divided that by millions. So,
by millions. That's correct.
Right, exactly. But
I did not bring this up, Billy, just for that reason. I'm not a very greedy person. I just wanted to kind of get an idea of how much we might expect. I know everything right now, it's you don't know. I mean, you have to go to the center to find out what they can give you.
That's right.
But they say also, but also remember one thing: if you have $150 million for yourself, you could easily help so many people in your town, in your county, in the local areas with your own money.
That's
exactly. Yes, you can.
Everything else that you're getting for the projects are on the projects only. You can't take that money and give it to your neighbor, to your family, to your town. It's only for the project. So the more you can get on for yourself, the more you can help all these people, all these single moms with the that have no money to pay for their bill every month. You could really reach out to the local people and pay for them with your own 30 million or 150 million or whatever money that they give you, right? Now,
right, exactly.
That's all answered, and I'm very happy I got that all answered. One last thing I'm gonna advise to you guys, to you and to Peter and Billy, look into lobster and look into those countries. The companies that are going to be listed on lobster or already listed on lobster, because you'll be cutting yourselves very short if you didn't, because the money that you're going to get from the Zims are going to look minute, and I'm going to repeat that, minute to what you're going to be expecting to get from those companies. And the more money you have access to in the future, the more people you can help. So just don't think that 30 million is enough or 50 million is enough. 50 million is nothing comparing to what you can get from the new quantum financial system.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Thank you very much, guys.
Absolutely.
Good job. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what I intend to do, for example, here in Cologne, where I live, there's a shop I been to very often called the English shop. And I just heard in the last few days that they're now in receivership because of all the financial problems. So I was thinking, when I get my windfall, I might just help them out, because I like the fact that they have English products.
Exactly.
And things like that. So, you know, even little things like that, you know, I think, well, you know, I go to this shop, I buy things. So if I can help them out, I think I'll do so, just to keep them afloat.
All right. We've run out of time here, folks. Sorry.
That's right.
But Peter, any final thoughts on everything here today?
Yeah, I think we had a number of interesting questions, and I think things are moving on, and you know, I think we should just hold the line, do not be too impatient. I think a lot of things are going to happen this month, and I'm not going to say any dates, but we have heard that Easter is the time when things are happening, and Easter is a week away. So
exactly.
Make sure your projects are working well, that you've got them all prepared and ready. And another thing, as regards Easter, just a reminder, because we only said this at the beginning of the show, and there's people have come and gone since then. Our next Sunday episode is not on Sunday; it's on Monday, because of Easter, and we know that people want to celebrate Easter. We're moving it to Easter Monday. And not on Easter Sunday. In fact, I will also be not at home on those
exactly.
two,
Neither
those
will
2
I.
days.
All right.
So it's going to be Easter Monday next week.
All right. But thank you all for showing up today, folks. We really do appreciate it. Everybody's way. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I'm glad you all could
Good
come
to
and
see
tell
all of your smiling faces.
Tell other people about this program. We get them to join in on the fun.
Exactly. We'll be back on Thursday at noon. And we'll see y'all then. All right. But thank you all very much. You have a very blessed Sunday.
Absolutely.
Take it easy. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.